Many people are familiar with Chof Av and associate it with the camps. And I guess it started that Rabbi Avram Shem Tov had this idea to make the Yahrzeit, and the Rebbe was Mechav of the Yahrzeit, which takes place every year in Gan Yisroel in Parksville, New York. And the Rebbe hat sich ausgedrückt that this is a way that he's Mechav his father. And the Gan Yisroel of that camp, Gan Yisroel, Parksville, and other camps over the years made special effort to bring the entire camp and all of the children to the Rebbe for Chof Av. So many people's childhood memories of the Chof Av by the Rebbe was from the camp, coming to the farbrengen, or later there's a rally and special sichos that the Rebbe said for the camp specifically. So we have with us Rabbi Yosef Chaim Kantor, the head shliach of Thailand, who is also zeichet to be a head counselor in I think Tafshin Nun and Tafshin Nun Aleph, when the head council of Gan Yisroel in New York, when they came to the Rebbe. So we'd like to ask Rabbi Yosef Chaim Kantor to share with us Mamshach Zan de farbrengen.
Chaim, we all know the concept of ani mispalel al da ze atinik, that Tzemach Tzedek brings in Sheresh Mitzvah Tefillah, the Mekubal who wrote, after all the inyanim of Kabbalah and Kavanas Hatfillah, nonetheless, he said, when I daven like a child davens. When a child davens, he davens to the Eibishter, doesn't know all the Kavanas, exactly which shemus, which names, and which spheres, and so on. He davens the Eibishter, and he davens to the Eibishter, and there's a certain simplicity in the way a child takes things, the way he turns to the Eibishter. And this big Mekubal wrote that when he davens, he also davens with a simplicity post Kavanas, in other words, above all the Kavanas, push it with the simplicity of a child. So coming to the Rebbe on Chof Av with children, the whole camp of children, it's brings out a certain inyan of al da ze atinik. What were the children really understanding, and by extension, those that were accompanying the children, the staff, what were they really understanding about the experience? So the first year, Tafshin Nun, I was a head counselor in Gan Yisroel, and we came with Shabbos, Chof Av was Shabbos. So the whole tzir of bringing a whole camp into Crown Heights and sleeping on the floor of Olitera and being very militant. I'm not sure why we were so nervous then. And Chas v'shalom, no parent should walk into Olitera to Chas v'shalom see their kid. When you're 20, some things seem very, very, very important. Like the whole Seder Shtalsh is going to break down. If Chas v'shalom, a mother squeezes in a granola bar to her kid, Erev Shabbos, it's going to be mamish disaster. But whatever, that's the whole misoviv. But then all the children going and davening with the Rebbe by the tefillas, and trying to make sure that, of course, they're quiet, and they say the appropriate amens, and so on. And then standing by the Rebbe's farbrengen, Shabbos afternoon. So we were standing all on the bleachers, and I'll be honest, too much of the farbrengen I don't remember hearing. First of all, it was the bleachers. Second of all, there was a whole camp of kids. And but I do remember very vividly that the Rebbe spoke to the children. And the Rebbe asked the children to say L'chaim. And then the Rebbe encouraged the singing to the children. And when the Rebbe lifted his hands to the children and those that accompanied the children, those that were part of the children, the staff, that it is pashtuf geheben. It was like going on a, I remember feeling like I was on a cloud. Jumping begashmis, of course, when the Rebbe was ma'eded with his hands, he would jump begashmis. But more than jumping begashmis, the whole place was like an anane shmaya. It was floating. Unbelievable. And the children understood one thing. What did the children know? Children knew that It's Chof Av. It's a day where the Rebbe has Yahrzeit. And one day where the Rebbe has Yahrzeit, you have to be with the Rebbe. It's like a father, and it's a special day for him, it's an emotional day for him, it's a touching day for him, it's a holy day for him, whatever it is. And all the Asius is not so negeya. Al da za tinek, a child understands. The kid comes, he knows it's Chof Av. Darf ihm nicht erzählen, kein größer Lomdes. You don't have to explain to him big things and big hergeshim. He understands. The Rebbe has a special day. It gives nachas to the Rebbe to see that he has children that are being mamshech in his derech, that are coming to be here together with him, and v'chlal the chavivus of the Rebbe to children. Gan Yisroel, the Rebbe had a chavivus to the Rebbe, went 2 times to visit Gan Yisroel. So the whole tzir didn't need much explanation. You start being masbir, why to come chava, why bepashtus. The second year, Tov Nun Aleph, I'll be very, very, very honest. Painfully honest. Embarrassedly honest. I don't have... I remember Tisha B'Av. I remember Tisha B'Av because Tisha B'Av shechol b'Shabbos. Tov Nun Aleph. I remember the big simcha by Shalosh Shudis. The Rebbe spoke about the simcha and the Shabbos. There's no ein etzav bo and so on and so forth. And we were singing Hislavos Gedela Tisha B'Av shechol b'Shabbos marbim b'simcha. And it was so obviously if Tisha B'Av was chol b'Shabbos, so then Chof Av was the same kvias like now. This we also had Tisha B'Av. So I remember when Chof Av was. There wasn't a farbrengen during the week. It was Tov Nun Aleph. It was after. So we came in. I'm sure there are people that know this and remember it. I didn't stammer from Mincha, and the Rebbe gave dollars l'chayra. And the only thing I remember is standing on the back of the benches of 770 trying to get all the kids to the bus. The big thing when you're at council is loading the buses and trying to make sure that you have every single kid. It's not kunst to load the buses and to leave a couple of kids here, a couple of kids there. That's fanem the ganze Kop. There's the counselors and the dust, and they have to have everyone say that. Did you count all your kids? Did you think? So a big who a makif misoviv. So, but I do remember. Almost a month later, Yud Zayin Elul was the end of camp, and we came at the end of camp. Camp came in Tov Nun when camp came back. There wasn't a sicha. Camp Amunah came back at a different time, and there was a rally then. But when Gan Yisroel came back, there wasn't a rally. Tov Nun Aleph, I think the last day of camp was the same. Machne Amunah and Gan Yisroel was the same day, and there was a rally, and the Rebbe spoke, and then the Rebbe said he's going to give all the children 3 dimes. So the Seder was that the head staff, that the directors of the camp, Rabbi Shemta, Rabbi Futafas, and then the head counselors, each one would get dimes from the Rebbe to divide to the kids. And then at the time was 3 head counselors, Yossi Hodakov, myself, and Dovid Sputz. And we went by the Rebbe, and the Rebbe, we gave then, all the children had written notes, I think Achlatas Tevis or whatever it was, had written letters to the Rebbe. We gave, Yossi Hodakov gave the album of notes to the Rebbe. The Rebbe asked, it was for him, he took it. And then the Rebbe put packets of dimes in Yossi's hands. And then he put a few packets of dimes, was about to put it in my hands. He was still looking at Yossi and he said, Geben jederen 3, give each child 3. And then the Rebbe said, "Zen na'mען für sich euch." Make sure to take for yourself also. And phew, a huge smile. 3 smiles. One to Yossi, one to me, and then one to Dovid Sputz. In the split second, in the nanosecond that the Rebbe is looking at you and giving a smile, and you see the Rebbe smiling at the first head counselor went by, and then and I noticed that the Rebbe's smile stopped. Then it started again, it stopped, and it started again. 3 separate smiles. But the nekuda zen na'mען für sich euch. So, I guess I messed up on the second Chof Av. I don't know. I don't know what I took. The first one, Tov Nun, very vividly is with me. Tov Nun Aleph, the Rebbe told me a month later, Dav zen na'mען für sich euch. You have to be busy with the kids, that's true, but you gotta also be there. You got to also be part of it, not just... okay. So, I just want to say something very simple. Al da ze atinik. This is what I'm saying. That people it's important to learn about the mahus of the day, and obviously the Rebbe wants us to know about his father and about the day and about the Mesiras Nefesh. And there's a very, very interesting in Tafshin Chof Tes, which was 25 years from Chof Av, in the second Sikha, the Rebbe speaks there about one of the Yahrzeit of Yiddishkeit is that even though the neshama already was nostalgic from the guf, and therefore l'cheira, what can you do possibly to impact the neshama? It's not here anymore. But one of the Yahrzeit of Emunah is, of Das Yisrael, the Rebbe says, is that there's no pirud, there's no hefsek between the neshama and the guf, the neshama the way it is up there, and by doing maisim here in this world, it has an effect on the neshama. And the Rebbe uses this lashon, and this is the answer to divas farbrengen. Was kemen ton b'shas mevil I don't want lashon gedenken or azeden or the alte zeide. How do you remember azeda? This is the lashon of the Rebbe uses azeda, the alte zeide. What are you going to do to be able to impact them? I'm not going to learn any pshatlach here and what I think, but just an interesting lashon. At that, the way to do it is by doing what they can't do now here, so you have a double responsibility. Side to do what you have to do, and also to make up for what that neshama can't do here, you also have to do. So we Chassidim is aldas even for those simple ones that don't understand all the details of yet of what the day is. Okay, we can get more educated. Today there's all the links. There's so much ribuy links that it's sometimes overwhelming. But Adavar Poshet, it's a Chof Av, and the Rebbe has Yahrzeit for his father. So Mamela, a Chassid wants to be, even in a very simplistic way, a Chassid wants to be by the Rebbe, and that's the Nekuda. And I'm going to share a personal story. First of all, I had a schus, and every year I realized more the schus, that in Tafshin Nun Aleph, we were a group, at the time was Perestroika, Glasnost, whatever they called it, right after Tishrei, Tafshin Nun Aleph, the biggest group of Vechom that ever went to Russia. How big was the group? Seven zuges, 7 pairs of Bachrim. We went by the Rebbe then, it was right after Tishrei. It was 14 Bachrim, and all the other Bachrim, except for myself and my chaver, Yossi, we went to Berditchev. All the other Bachrim had yeshivas in their cities. It was Kharkov and Peterburg and Moscow and Kherson, I think. But by us, there was in Berditchev, there wasn't yeshivas. Berditchev was mainly Alti Yidden. So there came a need. We went to Dnepropetrovsk for a kinnis ashluchim of all the Tmimim. And by that kinnis, there became an opportunity to have a kinnis of the Yidden in Almatah for the first time since World War II. Permission was granted that in Almatah they could rent a theater or a big hall and make an official gathering of all the Yidden of Almatah. And they needed somebody to go and fear on. Of course, we didn't speak really too much Russian. A little bit we spoke. But they gave an interpreter. That was the Seder then. The American, the Shluchim would speak with an interpreter. And all the other Bachrim had yeshiva. So myself and Yossi Bilsovsky, we had then the schus to go to Almatah. We flew to Tashkent. And then from Tashkent, we flew to Almatah. And Nochem Tamarin, I think, was there, and he picked us up, and they arranged to use the banya, the mikveh. And we went to Rebbe Yitzchok's, I don't remember if there's oil there already. Could be, I don't remember what year it was. And then we went and did a kinnus for all the Yidden. The time was the first kinnus in Almatah. So that's definitely a big schus. I'm wondering, again, this was this was Stamach Kislev or Tevis, Tafshin Nun Aleph. I would be interested who wrote then the duch. Maybe I'll ask, look into it and see if there was any siachus, because it was a big thing, that the first kinnus. And so l'chaim to you all, the day and the opportunity to come together on this day. It will definitely be pale on us to be mechazek our iskashus, Sai if we understood why we came fully, Sai if we came al das atinik, and we know that the one thing we have today that keeps us going and that will bring the curtain down on the Golus and bring the Geula is the Chizikai Skashus, Beilone Dechaya, the Skashus to the Rebbe and to everything that's dear to the Rebbe. And L'chaim should be Zeicha to no more Yahrzeits, and even Hilulas should be only in Ha'efen of Nagolidika Ha'efen, which should be taken from Yad Mamish. L'chaim.